Hi guys, I thought I'd touch base with you on a couple of little things. The vlogging challenge and my finger. First, the vlogging challenge. It kind of got away with me, but I'm asking that I don't get punished and that we extend the vlogging challenge into August, because you guys know that I didn't have a computer for 2 weeks, and then since then I've been like busy with work and stuff, and so I'm asking for a little bit of a reprieve, and starting tomorrow it'll go on till next month. Same things apply, same 3 days of a pass. Unless something happens to my computer again, then I'm just going to try it again a month from now. If I complete it, I get a reward. If I don't, I get a punishment. This time for realsies, not for plays. Issue number 2. It kind of looks a little bit worse than it is. I didn't get stitches or anything, but you guys know I hurt my finger. Cut, like, this little region right here off, like the nail and everything right there. So what happened was I was at work, and I was, for those of you who don't know, I now work at a bar and grill as a cook, and soon to be a server too, starting the first week of August. Anyway, so I was cutting a piece of lettuce. I was going to chop it up into little shreds. I went to go cut like this, and I thought I had my fingers back enough, but I didn't have this one back enough, and it was just like shoo. And it was great because every Friday we get brand new knives, and so I cut myself with a brand spanking new sharp knife. Hence why the nail came off too. As soon as I did it, I'm like, oh my gosh, it hurts really bad. And it's funny because earlier in the week, like I think the last time I worked before Friday, I cut myself right there. And when I did that, I was like, oh crap, I'm gonna need stitches. That was pretty bad. It wasn't that bad. It just bled a lot at first, and it's pretty much healed. This time when I cut myself with this, I was just like, oh, that hurts really bad, and then it bled a lot, and I was just like, I'm gonna probably need stitches. And so right after I did it, I went over to the bar, because the kitchen's, blocked off, and I had to open the door, and there was a bartender. She was like, hey Shannon, can you come here a second? And I had already wrapped my hand up by this time, and she's like, yeah, and she comes in, and I'm like, yeah, I cut myself pretty good. And she's like, oh, you're bleeding down your arm, and I had a paper towel like wadded around my hand. So she calls Brandon, our head cook, is like, hey, you might need to come in here because there's a good chance that Tiffany's gonna have to go to the hospital. So he just tells me, apply pressure to it and hold it really tight for like a minute or two, and if the bleeding doesn't slow down, call me again. And it doesn't help. So we call Brandon again. Shannon's like, it's not helping, it's still bleeding. Shannon calls him, and he's like, and they've been telling me since I got there, like since I got like little tiny cuts since I got there, they were like, you need to get super glue because you put it in a wound, and it sounds ghetto, but whatever. You put it in a wound and it stops the bleeding really fast, and you can go back to work right away. So he was just like, get the super glue, put that on there. It'll bleed still for a little bit, but if the bleeding doesn't slow down, then call me. And it's not really helping at first, so I just lay there on the edge of, there's a big sink and then there's a little hand washing sink, so I just lay there with my hand over the edge onto like the little sink, and I'm just like letting it bleed in the sink, and after a while it like coated the bottom of the sink. It just flowed to like a little drip to where we could at least like see what was going on, and that's when we saw that like I cut like a corner off and like the nail and stuff, and there's really nothing I could do. Like if I went to the hospital, they would just like bandage it up. So I couldn't really get any stitches or anything because there's nothing to stitch. Like I couldn't even find like the little piece that I cut off. Luckily this whole time there's only 2 customers out there, and they weren't ordering any food, and they're regulars anyway. They were like, you should come out here. And I was like, no, it's unprofessional for me to come out there with my hand bleeding. And they were like, you don't work at a 5-star restaurant, you work at a bar, just come back here. So I go out to the bar. They're both like construction workers, so they get this first aid kit out and they bandage up my hand. And then the one guy was like, you might want to get some Vicodin or some Percocet, something to like with the pain. And I'm like, it doesn't hurt that bad. He's like, you don't need painkillers? I was like, no, I mean it hurts. And he's like, so you don't need painkillers, you're not crying. That's hot. I was like, thanks. That's the story of my finger. So yeah, I will post up a mini vlog tomorrow. I love you guys, and I really miss you, like all the time. Bethy Leslie. Starting from tomorrow. Another month of vlogging.